Hello everyone, I'm Bill Safa, and today I'm going to be demonstrating the 1847 Colt Walker. First thing we're going to do is we're going to pick this up, holding it, pointing it in the safe direction. We're going to examine to make sure that it's not loaded. We're going to do that by putting the hammer on half cock and rotating the cylinders and making sure that each nipple does not have a cap on it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look down the front of the cylinder to make sure there's no ball in it. And this revolver is unloaded and is now safe to handle. So what I'm going to be loading it with is Pyrodex. I'm using triple F. You never want to put 4F into a revolver because it's a lot more potent, and basically it's going to explode the revolver, so we don't want to do that. And the way I'm going to be doing that is I have triple F loaded into this flask, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I have this pre-measured, this pre-measure over here that gives me 60 grains, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this up, I'm going to fill this pre-measure up, empty it into the container, then empty the container into the chamber of the revolver. So keeping the revolver pointed in a safe direction. It's at half cock. Begin loading. I'm going to fill up one chamber at a time. And as I said, we're putting 60 grains into this, which is the intended load. The 1847 was really the granddaddy of revolvers, as we like to call it. Most revolvers take 30 grains. The Walker takes 60. And what it is, it's basically it's a pistol that shoots rifle loads. The 1847 Walker weighs 4.5 pounds. As opposed to most revolvers that weigh 2.5 to 3 pounds. The extra weight really helps with absorbing the recoil. And the reason why the 1847 was designed to be so powerful is because it was meant to take down the horses of the opposing cavalry. It wasn't meant to shoot people, it was meant to shoot horses. And the idea being that if you take out the horse, you render the man on it ineffective. There's 6 cylinders here, and this takes a 44 caliber ball. The ball that goes into it is actually a 4.54 or 4.57, so slightly larger than the size of the cylinder. And the reason for that is because we want a very tight seal. So now that I have powder in each of the 6 chambers, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a ball and I'm going to load it onto the top of the chamber and rotate it around so that it falls under this ramrod and plunger. And then what I'm going to do is, as you can see me doing, I'm going to press it down. And what's happening is, as I press that 4.54 ball down, what it does is it shaves the edge of the ball. So it forces the ball, here we go, I'm doing it again, it forces the ball to fit the chamber. And what that does is it creates a very tight seal. So gases don't escape. And we've got more power going into the going behind the ball as opposed to escaping from the sides. The 1847 is the equivalent of a modern day 357 in terms of energy. It was the most powerful production gun up until they started producing 357s in volume. Okay, so now I have each of my cylinders loaded. Well, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little piece of lube, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to rub it across the base of the cylinder. And the reason for this is to prevent chain fire. And what that is when one cylinder ignites, it will prevent the sparks from that one cylinder going into the other cylinders and causing a chain reaction. So now this revolver is loaded, but it is not armed because it does not have primers. And the primers are needed in order to ignite the powder that's inside the chamber. So, what I'm going to do now is I got number 10 caps. I'm going to pinch them a little bit so that they stay in place. And I'm going to put them on top of each nipple. The original ones were made of mercury, which is somewhat cancerous, and was also very, very sensitive. Revolvers were known to ignite just by simply pushing these caps onto the nipples. However, these modern ones are much safer. There's no risk to that. Okay, so now this revolver is loaded. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rest it between the cylinders. Traditionally, this revolver was not safe to carry with 6 cylinders loaded. However, these modern reproductions have a little notch in between the cylinders that keeps the cylinder in place and prevents it from moving. This way that the hammer is not resting on the loaded chamber. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is put this down for a second. I'm going to put my ear protection on. And what I'm doing is I'm aiming it to those boards over there. I have 7 of them lined up, and I want to see how good of penetration we get into those 7 boards. I'm going to be shooting from about, I don't know, 15 feet away, just for the sake of keeping myself within the view of the camera and keeping the target within the view of the camera. There's a 4.5-pound revolver. Now I've shot my 6 shots. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on half cock, and I'm going to spin the cylinders and examine each nipple to make sure there's not a primer on any one of these. Basically what I'm doing is I'm making sure that it is truly unloaded. And after I see that there's no primers, I'm looking down the cylinder and I see that the revolver is unloaded. So now this revolver is safe.